Hi there, Cherish ones. I'm here with Tony Heaton, who works for Shape. I'm just going to hand it over for Tony to... We've had a bit of disability awareness training today, but can you tell us a little bit about Shape and what you do at your organisation?
I can. Shape works with disabled people, disabled artists predominantly, across all art genres, and we work to encourage disabled people as audiences to arts activities and events because we love the arts and their arts are very empowering, and we want to make sure that disabled people have as much access as possible to the creative world that we love.
Fantastic. So Cherish Healing looks at giving people a helping hand when they need it. I myself experience anxiety and experience depression. And in the 21st century in the Western world, there still appears a lot of stigma around physical and mental disabilities. Why do you think this is, and what can we as individuals do to help remove those barriers, and what wider things do you think we can do to support people with disabilities?
Well, it's a big question.
Yeah.
And I think looking back, we may well be a less tolerant society now than we were in the past. But we weren't that very tolerant then either. So I'm not sure what the answer is. I mean, for Shape, we are constantly training people around disability equality so that people know the facts that you can't discriminate against disabled people is against the law, and yet people still do. So it's not a very powerful law that we have. And I think the best way to do it is for people to become much more aware and educated around disability issues, and within the Equality Act, people in the workforce should be making reasonable adjustments for people with a whole range of impairments. And there are a lot of disabled people, people with very obvious impairments like mine, and people who've got, impairments like yours, which are more invisible. But nevertheless, we both have requirements. And if we can own that and explain it well, then in a caring society, people should be perfectly happy to meet our requirements. And that's what we've got to be driving for, I guess, isn't it? More tolerance, more understanding, and more, trying to get the best out of each other, really. And we do that by getting each other in the best possible place we can be in to do the best we can.
Brilliant. I myself love the arts. It's always been a place where I felt quite safe and accepted no matter what. So I think the work you're doing is really brilliant. Are there a few artists at the moment, up-and-coming artists, working with issues around mental health in particular that would be good to know about?
Yes, it's a massive area for people to work in, and I think 1 in 3, 1 in 4 people will experience some form of mental health issue throughout their lives. So again, it's a big thing, but we don't talk about it. We should talk about it more, and I think it's a really good way to try and get people to think about it. I know we talked about it a little bit in the training this morning, about people who've been through the mental health system. And a couple of people I talked about this morning, the playwright, Julie McNamara, performer and playwright, doing brilliant work around, not just around mental health, but again, a lot of her work is rooted within mental health. A curator and artist called Aidan Mosby, again, somebody who was an interesting artist to look up. John Adams, we talked about, how his dyslexia and his autism has impacted on his life, but also impacted in a positive way on his work as an artist. I could give you lots and lots of lists.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. It reminded me in the training we had a long list of people, including David Beckham, Vincent van Gogh, so many celebrated people that had various disabilities, and it was just really encouraging to think, well, I'm not alone, firstly, and secondly, it was something quite inspirational to think about how, with the right support, we can kind of come through certain periods where we feel particularly vulnerable. So that was very encouraging. And the last question before I know we've got to shoot off is, what things help you to relax and release stress for yourself? How do you cherish yourself?
Different things that you cherish. I know that for a fact because I jokingly said what my special need was when we talked about special needs. And I said it's a large glass of Glenmorangie at the end of a long, hard day. But I do, you know, you may not believe it looking at my physique, but I'm really interested in yoga. I do yoga, I do controlled breathing exercises, and I think positive outlook on life, you know, they're the real driving things that get me through the day. But I think knowing yourself and being able to articulate how you want to manage your impairment is the starting point for all disabled people. You know what your strengths are, know what you need to do to get through the day, and think of ways that you can articulate that with others so that they can create an environment that you can be your best in. And I think, you know, being out and confident is the way to do it. I know that's not easy to do, and it's not easy for everybody, and I guess I've spent many, many years learning how to be confident as a disabled person and being assertive in asking for what I require.
Brilliant. That's
Good luck with it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time out to talk
lovely
to us.
Meet you.
And hopefully this has been useful to some people. There'll be some links at the bottom so you can see if you want to get hold of the type of training that Shape offer. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers. Bye.